Hey guys, welcome back to TC Vape Reviews. Little delayed on this Aerotank and Nautilus tank roundup here, but we're going to go and try to get this done tonight before it gets too late. Sorry, the weather has been changing back and forth so frequently and my allergies are just shot. So, the Aerotank and the Nautilus. This is the Aerotank inside my VTR, and this is the Nautilus. Both of them are pretty good tank addies. They both produce equal amounts of vapor, in my opinion. And honestly, I really couldn't tell much difference between the two. So, both of these tanks are designed to have airflow adjustments on it, which is kind of nice for mods like the Coolfire 1 and some of the other Aerotank lines where the heads aren't completely sealed from the electronics. Anytime you can blow through the head and you get air down in there, that means that the juice, if it's leaking, can go down there too. What I did notice, if you get any leakage, it will go through the airflow holes. Which, let's talk about leakage real quick. The only time I had leakage on any one of these was when going from a really cold to really warm atmosphere. So like last couple days it was like negative, or not negative, but it was like 12 degrees outside. When I would go in and out and I had it exposed to that real cold temperature and then back to warm, it would start to leak. And that was with both of them. So we're going to go through the Nautilus and the Aerotank made by Kangaroo, and this is made by Aspire. So both of them can be rebuilt, and I do plan on doing a little rebuild videos. I recommend them being rebuilt with single coils. They work really well as a single coil build, but what we're going to do is what it came with. For instance, the Aerotank, which I hid the box for myself apparently. Oh no, will come in here with the box like this, and the Aspire comes in a box like that. So they both come in some really nice packaging. Blah 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 blah. They tell you if you're 18, don't vape. I mean, it's all pretty much the same thing, and they starting to come with the authenticity. Oh my gosh! To make sure they're authentic, they have a scratch little deal there on the Kangaroo, just so you know it wasn't cloned. But anyways, it really doesn't matter. What matters in the end is, does it vape? Does it vape well? Does it give you flavor? Vapor production, all that good stuff. So that's what we're going to go through. I have this on the Aerotank and Aerotank on my VTR because it actually fit down in the chamber, and I thought overall this was a really nice clean look for the VTR. So if you have a VTR, the Aero looks really good and it does fit in it. Unfortunately, the Nautilus, which kind of the vibe on the web right now is the Nautilus is more popular, it does not fit in there unless you're willing to cut your VTR down for the Nautilus to go into. I'm not willing to cut my VTR yet. So anyways, vapor production is good. You know, I have to say, guys, that, I mean, for something that I could just buy another coil, throw in there, the Aspire is pretty impressive. Oh, these allergies are brutal. It's real convenient. You fill it by unscrewing the bowl, just like the old Protank 2s and Protanks. It's all bottom fed. You unscrew it, you fill it up to the stem, you don't go over the stem or into the actual air chamber, the chimney, and you're good to go. It holds a lot of juice. 5 milliliters of juice. So if you fill this bad boy up, be prepared to vape on it for a while. It's a lot of juice to commit to. So I wouldn't put a juice in it that you don't just love. That way you're not going, oh man, I gotta clean all that crap out. That would definitely be the juice that you put your daily vape juice in. Now the Aero, it is smaller and it holds about 3 to 4 milliliters I found. I'm not exactly sure on the number on that, but it's a pretty good little vape too. And let's just make sure we're both at 10. Yeah, this one's at 10 watts as well. There we go. And I look, I hate to be persuaded by the internet and what people are saying about one over the other. So this is my honest opinion, and I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of people that are going to go, oh my god, he's crazy, but both of these are very similar. I will say that looking at the coil on the inside, it looked like there was a little bit more attention paid towards the Nautilis coils. The coil on this Aerotank, oh my gosh, the Aerotank, it's not bad, but you can tell it's just quickly wound and thrown in there. They've measured it to make sure it meets their own requirement, and it does good. Now this is a 2 ohm coil over a let's see, I think this was a 1.6 is what it measured out to be. A 1.7 ohm coil. What does that mean? Well, if you're using a variable voltage, variable wattage, and then really in the end it really doesn't mean that much difference if you're using it that way. But what it does mean though for that Nautilis is you could throw it on a mechanical mod, use 4.2 volts on there and get pretty decent vape. I actually put it on my Chi-Yu and my Tomo, which I just got for review, and the Caravella, maybe? Got one of those to do a review on. And it vaped well on all of those. Obviously the Aerotank being 2 ohms, that was really not much of an option for me. It was a little too cold. So if you're using a mechanical mod and you want to have something that can be a tank style that you use it on, it's not bad. Particularly if you want to use a kick in it, then you're right back to where you are anyway. So, and I've always said that, you know, if you're mainly using mechanical mods, you should invest in a kick and just forget all these other mods and just use the kick for your variable voltage. Unless you're looking for really high wattage use, which you'd be, you know, looking at DNA 30s and stuff anyways. So continuing on, vapor production out of the Aerotank. I don't know, can you tell the difference? That was the Aero, here's our Nautilis. And I am kind of priming them up. The iTaste and Anakin product lines, I notice there's kind of like a ramp up time. And the Cool Fire, you can definitely tell it takes about 2 seconds. So I'm making sure they're going full blast so you can see the full potential. To me, the Nautilis seems like it's just a little bit more, but it's not enough for me to say this one's better than that one yet. Flavor. In this one I have some Scarlet Cake Pop. No, actually that's Harlequin, I'm sorry. I can taste all the flavors in it. It tastes pretty good. With that amount of airflow through that, I do get a little muted flavor. So what I would do if you're looking for good flavor is probably tighten down this ring and you'll notice it's moving up, and there's 4 holes in there. It's just going to slightly cover it until it's completely shut off. So that's turned down just a little bit. Okay, I'm still getting good vapor production. It's a little bit warmer because it's not as much airflow, and that's good flavor. I can definitely taste everything. In here I've got some Chonky Monkey. I wanted to see how it vaped through a tank. I've got, yet again, good flavor. A nice mild banana with a little hint of chocolate. But it's not real stout like I know Chunky Monkey can be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow down the airflow on this one too. So if you're doing mouth to lung hit and you turn that airflow down just a little bit, you actually get a very good performing tank out of both of these. So we still don't have a winner yet as far as which one's better than the other. Both produce equivalent flavor. Both are producing equivalent in vapor, and I get roughly about the same airflow. So if I was a lung hitter, I'm still doing that partial mouth open just to get that good lung hit. I will say this, the Aero, being that it's multiple holes, you could probably take something in there and open up those holes more, but I think you're still going to be restricted by how much airflow is going through the chimney and those coils. But I would say that if you are looking for something that holds a lot of juice, and let's say you use more than 2 to 3 milliliters a day in most of your tanks and you're constantly refilling it, you probably want to go with the Aspire just because it has a bigger tank. Something to consider though, both of these are glass. The glass on this is exposed all the way around. There's really not a lot to protect this glass, and I just foresee that dropping and hitting something. It's really why I haven't carried this around much. I love the look of that. That's just a very unique style. I enjoy it. It comes completely apart. It's very easy to clean out. But I did like this Aerotank. It just seems metal-wise, we've got a big, heavy, solid top, big, heavy, solid bottom. The glass is protected on the top and bottom. You know, when you drop something, it typically is not just going to fall flat. I mean, if I dropped it like this, it would go flat. But typically there's going to be some kind of motion to it causing it to actually hit the corner. Not to say that glass is going to survive any fall, but if it was going to survive a fall, I would suspect that it would survive better, being that it has that around it. And also, for you guys who have these VTRs that I've recommended to in the past for working and stuff, that fits down in there so you don't have to worry about it really having a good opportunity of getting hit. So price wise, you're looking at about $30-something here for the Aerotank in store, and you're looking for about $40 to $45 for the Aspire Nautilis in the store. If you are a rebuilder of coils and you're familiar with the ProTank rebuilds, you could do that on this as well. I would definitely recommend just sticking with the single coil build and producing a ton more vapor and a lot more flavor out of the Aero and the Nautilis. So I found that the Nautilis rebuilt is a little bit more challenging because it has a sleeve inside that can come out. Rip Tripper did a video on how to rebuild it, and it's a good rebuild, but it is tricky. You have to be very cautious about that inner sleeve coming in and out. And neither one of them can handle any sub-ohms, so don't try what I try and burn up a couple coils going, man, I wonder if the insulators can handle it. They can't. So save yourself some money, build you at least a 1 ohm coil on these guys. I think I tried to build a 0.6, 0.5 in the Nautilis and it didn't survive. It immediately burnt the insulator up, and that was it for that. So, if I had to say one wins over the other, and I see, I'm sorry I'm vaping on that, but that's what I normally vape on. But if I had to pick one or the other, actually I think I would go with the Aero if I was going out and about, and I think I would choose the Nautilis if I was just going to hang out the house that day and just kick back, because that means I can put a ton of juice in there. And it reminds me, when it's rebuilt, I like the Kayfun Lite, which is one of my favorite rebuildable tank style atomizers. Matter of fact, it's sitting right there. The chimney style that's inside my Kayfun Lite, damn near just like what's inside the Nautilis. So I wonder if that cone chimney style has something to do with the amount of flavor when it's built a little bit less ohms and with that cotton wick. Now it takes, like I said, you've got the Aerotank will be easier to rebuild on. So for the money and everything else, I would actually have to say that the Aerotank is the way to go. It's cheaper, they're rebuildable, they're a little bit smaller, so as far as committing to juice wise, it's not as bad. They are both subjective to temperature changes, so if you load this up full of juice and you go out to the hot and the cold and the hot and the cold, one of them's going to leak. You need to replace the coils in them probably, I don't know, every 3 to 4 tank fillings, because it's going to be just like any dual coil system. So if you're using an iClear 30B and you're replacing the juice in that or the head in that once a week, then you're going to be doing the same here. The replacement heads for these have been around $3-4. I would definitely recommend learning how to rebuild them. You'll save yourself a lot of money, and that's what this is about. Unless you're a hobbyist like me and you go, okay, what's my vape budget? And you go to your wife, who is the boss of your vape budget, and you go, okay, what can I spend this week? You know, that's what I do. This is a hobby, and I want to learn more and more about this industry, and I want to share that knowledge with other people. But if you're doing it just to save some money, learning to rebuild a coil on one of these guys, you would find yourself very, very happy. Considering that you could pay $80 for a clone of these Kayfun lights, and you could pay $40 for this and get similar taste and vapor production, or $40 if you're using a VTR, it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. I'm glad the industry is starting to listen to us and where we're asking for those airflow adjustments. Now they just need to make it where you've got that same deal in there. Let's get rid of these 2 ohm builds. There's not I go to vape shops all the time, and every time I hear somebody come in asking for a coil, I almost never hear anybody asking for a 2 ohm coil. So it's almost always 1 point something. But as far as getting the coils on, the Aerotank, its package said 2 ohm, it's a 2.1. The Aspire says a 1.8, it's a 1.7. So they're pretty close on far as their builds. The only reason why I would say the Aero is better than the Nautilis is just the price, but they're very similar. So it's up to you guys, the style. So I guess if this was a boxing match, this guy knocked it out of the park. That's pretty good. So that's it for today. If you have any questions or concerns, find me on Facebook, TC Vapes Reviews, and also I started a chat channel called Vape Help, which is strictly a site for you to find some friends and get some help.